You're listening to Power Talk, Berkeley Electric Cooperative's official broadcast about the cooperative, our communities, and ways to use energy wisely. And now, let's join our hosts for today's episode. Good morning and welcome to Power Talk. I am Micah Ponce, the Media and Communications Specialist here at Berkeley Electric Cooperative. Got through that without a hitch this time. Joined today by Miss Libby Rogue, the Director of Marketing and Communications.
Good morning, Micah.
Good morning.
Sometimes introducing ourselves is the hardest part of the show.
It is.
And speaking of introductions, a lady who needs no introduction, but I'll do it anyway. Yajaira Bess, the Public Relations Specialist here at Berkeley Electric Cooperative, and our outreach specialist to...
A gal who wears so many hats.
I was about to say, outreach specialist to just about everybody.
Yeah.
Just about everybody. Welcome to the show, Yajaira.
You guys are so sweet. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here with you guys. Hello, dear friends, community members out there.
Well, Yajaira, tell us a little bit about all the communities that you do reach out to. I mean, because it's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
Yes. So there is, as Libby was mentioning, many hats. But, I do the liaison for our limited English proficiency. Everyone that probably doesn't know knows that we have Power Talk, but in Spanish, Conversaciones Electrificantes, and the same information that we try to give our members in Power Talk, we try to also, give that same, but in the Spanish for our community, our limited English proficiency community.
And
yes.
just to jump in, that outreach is so important to our Spanish-speaking members primarily is your target. Because as a utility, we don't discriminate, who we serve. We serve everybody, no matter, age, gender.
That's right.
Ability, your language preference, any of that. So there can be obstacles in place for folks who don't speak the dominant language in a community. And so the work that you do making our services more accessible and the outreach as we do as a not-for-profit cooperative to the community, making all that so much more accessible is so very important.
Yeah, and our membership, and you guys see it every day, it's just growing rapidly. Mm-hmm. So to be able to help, as you mentioned, all cultural, all diverse, it's amazing, it's wonderful, because it also, helps you learn, what needs, what challenges our members may have and how we can overcome that, which is very important, because we've always talked about it. That's real big and near and dear to our hearts is, our concern for the community.
Yeah. And
that's one of the components. Our foundation is our members. So we're going to do the best that we can to try to serve our members and help them out.
So you do outreach to our Spanish-speaking members.
Yes. And then for folks who are just, can't get enough Power Talk, there's another episode this month where we're talking about grassroots outreach. Yep. So, right. We're talking about everything that we do for the voters and our membership in terms of that, because we got voting season coming up. But Ms. Yajaira is in charge of our grassroots outreach to all those members and getting everybody up to speed when it comes time to voting and the importance of that and all the programs that the co-op offers as well.
That's right.
But at the end of the day, there's even yet another group of people that you do outreach to, and those are going to be like our military veterans and our first responders. Why is it important that we have that kind of outreach to that group as well?
All of the groups and everyone that I work with is important, but of course this one as well is near and dear to my heart because, when you think about it, Berkeley Electric and even our propane department, they are proud to honor the military service in our community with a monument. If those haven't seen it, right off of 52, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, located at our headquarters entrance in Monk's Corner. And the community can purchase a stone paver there. But, it is important because you think about it. These are men and women that serve or have served or are continuing still serving that, are out there, fighting for our freedom, our protection, our right to vote, So it's very important. And this is just a very, very little I say token of gratitude, of appreciation for what they do. And, not only them, but their families, the struggle that their families had to go to, with that loved one not being there during that time. So we think about not only them, but of course the families as well.
And a lot of our military veterans go on to become first responders, our police, our firefighters, EMS. So, oftentimes they'll finish serving in one capacity, their community, and then move on to serve in another way. So we're so happy to be able to provide some outreach, both to those groups, but we also have a lot of military veterans who work at the cooperative, and we're thrilled to honor their service in small ways.
And I'm sure most folks, or a lot of folks, have somewhere within their extended family somebody who probably has served either in the military or as a first responder. So, I mean, they're part of the co-op family.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that we honor them and we give them the respect and the recognition that they deserve. I mean, even within my family, it's been a little while now, but my grandfather was, fought during World War II. He was, I think, a supply sergeant overseas during World War II. Yeah. So, even if it's just a generation or two back, there's a lot of folks have some sort of connection to the military or first responders. Right. A lot of people are out there, like you said, serving on the front lines.
Because that is another group that we do service, of course, is our first responders. We try to take care of them because they take care of us, and another small token of appreciation. But I love to you were talking about your grandfather, I love sitting and hearing their stories and everything that they went through, because it's just fascinating. Like, these are brave men and women. Like, I don't know if I could do that, but I give them all the credit and all the kudos, because that right there is true hero, true bravery, and I just they just need to be praised.
And there's so many war veterans who that they're just now starting to talk about their service, that for so long it wasn't something you did culturally, talk about that time. And I didn't realize until my dad was very late in life, and then after he passed, that he had served in Vietnam. He was in the Navy and radio operator, and he never talked of it. Partially it was just the stigma attached to Vietnam, but he had 6 children and lots of other things distracting him. So there's just not a lot of time to just sit and share his experiences. I can't. I've been on a couple of aircraft carriers since then, just to see what it's like. Mm-hmm. First off, they're not made for tall people. So, but I don't have any reference for what his experiences were like, but you see the old photos of that era, and it's all kind of the same skinny men, with the slicked hair, and they all look exactly the same, but
they do.
Well, Yajaira, there you found your calling. You can be on an aircraft carrier because you are vertically challenged. You would fit through the little.
I cannot do heights.
Go there.
I cannot do heights. That's one thing that I am actually afraid of, is heights. So
I'm afraid of heights too.
Nope, can't do that.
Micah's not very tall either.
I'm quite average in height. Thank you very much. But I mean, anyway. We're talking about ways to honor folks, and we'll get back on track, but we're already off track anyway. But
it's what we do best after intros.
Exactly. 20 minutes later, oh yeah, the show. Electric cooperatives, I mean, we've got a long history of supporting veterans. And one of the things that I was lucky to do was, and speaking about World War II, which is what reminded me, is something that's called Honor Flight.
Yeah.
And the electric cooperatives for a couple of years did what they call an Honor Flight, where they invite World War II veterans and, at the time, Korean War veterans. And they flew them for free to Washington, D.C.
Oh, wow.
And they got to go see their monuments in Washington. And so, I mean, that was, it was an incredible experience. And I mean, even the fortitude, because we're talking guys who are easily in their 80s and 90s. Yeah. And I mean, it's a single day trip. Yeah. You fly up to Washington, you tour the monuments, you fly back all in a single day.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, for me, it was an incredibly moving experience, but for the participants as well, because so many of them thought that people didn't remember or didn't care about their service. And just the sheer number of folks when we were out at the monuments or even in the airports who were recognizing these gentlemen for their service and honoring them for their service. And I mean, it was such an important and impactful day in their lives, so long after they had served. So, I mean, that's just one of the programs that cooperatives have done throughout the years and that I was lucky enough to take part in. And like I said, that's one of the things that, I'm definitely going to mark myself as, bucket list as something that I was able to do.
Yeah, that sounds like an amazing experience. And, like Yajaira mentioned, we do outreach all year long to various groups, including one of her groups is veterans and first responders. But a couple of years ago, if you live in the greater Moncks Corner area, you know we moved into a new headquarters. We feel very fortunate to have such a functional facility and take a lot of pride in it. But out front is this beautiful monument for our veterans. And there's a huge flag, U.S. flag, state flag, some plaques on the wall, and then the pavers going around the walls. But, this is one of our most visible representations of our outreach to our veterans and their families. And we're so thrilled to have it, and it's wonderful. My office sits on the wall facing the monument, and you can see people, park and go look around and spend some time out there. And there's benches, and it's a really nice atmosphere. But
it's very emotional too, because I've walked out there a few times, and just to see all the names and the years and the different wars, it's like, wow, this is America, and these men and women fought for us, fought for this right here. And it's very emotional, very moving. So if you haven't had a chance to stop by and see it, must. It's a must.
Yeah, and, shortly after we moved in, we had a ribbon cutting out there to let the families come, and all at once, just a short program. And it was so wonderful to see how much it meant to everybody in the community and for everybody to come out. And so we're thrilled to be able to continue adding to that. And we've got lots and lots and lots of space to put more pavers down. But Yajaira, tell us the latest that's going on with the monument.
Yes, so we are entering our third phase, or actually we are in our third phase, I should say, of pavers. And, it's been, I think last year we hit over 279 pavers.
Yeah.
I want to say that was record number. Maybe this year it will break it. But it was just overwhelming to see all the amount of members and family that have put in a paver, dedicated to their loved one. I think that was superb. But, you purchase a paver, and you can either...
For $50.
That's right, for $50. You can come to our office and do that. You can pay online as well.
Online's super convenient because
Yes.
you can pay right there, and you can put the text that you want. You are limited to 13
That's right.
either letters or spaces per line. But you have until the end of October to buy a paver this time. We like to do them in batches.
That's right.
Because it can just be a lot to try to do ones and twos. So once a year is what we've been doing. We open it up for a couple of months. So we're in September now. You got till October 31st to buy your paver.
And as you were mentioning about the spaces is, of course, 13 characters. So even if you include, say, the loved one of the first and last name, you're going to put a space, of course, in between those two names. That's also considered a character.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a little bit difficult because I try to explain that to our members.
Yeah, and you got to get a little creative with the abbreviation.
Right, sometimes, yeah.
In the initial offering, I bought a paver with no intention of what to do with it necessarily, but my dad, as I mentioned, was in Vietnam, and my father-in-law, my husband's dad, he was career military. And retired as a colonel. And then my husband served. So my sister has served in the Navy, so we have lots of veterans, but I picked those three men because those are connected to my son. And it was tough to try to honor 3 men in 3 lines of text with 13 letters and spaces. So,
Exactly.
but I did it. So if you need help,
And you're only allowed 3 lines, as you mentioned. So it gets a little bit difficult for you to put so much information on there. But as you mentioned, October 31st is our deadline. So if you are wanting to purchase a paver, please do so and do it before the 31st, so that way we have you in that 3rd batch that's to come.
And you can buy as many as you want.
Yes.
They're $50 each, but if you've got, unlike me, if you wanted to do one for each of your people instead of try to cram it all on one brick, which I would suggest, you can buy 2, 10, whatever.
That's right.
Whatever you want to do.
And don't forget to look out for the South Carolina Living magazine this month. There is a form in there, and it's got the little spaces blocked off for you, so you can practice figuring out how you want to fill out the form. But that's going to be in the September magazine, so out there all month for you to take a look at and hopefully decide on, getting a paver to honor somebody.
And, this year our attention kind of turns to the holidays, and a popular request with our members so far has been, hey, will this be in by Christmas so we can bring our loved one and show them how we're honoring them? Yajaira, will they be installed by Christmas?
Unfortunately not. I'm so sorry. Yes, we do get that request. And I love the idea that they're wanting to surprise them, during the holidays. But because there's so many and, the proofreading that we have to do back and forth, it does take some time.
Yeah.
So, the earliest I would say it would be the beginning of 2025. Once we get everything proofread and we send it off, and get a confirmation back, they will probably start installing them around end of January, February, around there of 2025.
Yeah, there's a lot of internal processes, like Yajaira is saying, to get the order in and accurate and the bricks installed. So it's not a quick turnaround for us, but we try to make sure we're doing a good job. And it's just, we've thought about maybe moving the date up a little bit for when the bricks are for sale, but unfortunately it'll be January, February before they're ready.
Well, folks, if you're just joining us, we're talking about outreach to all of our communities, but in particular our military and first responders. And just a quick sum up, we are in the midst of taking applications for pavers for our monument that we have out front at Berkeley Electric Cooperative's Moncks Corner headquarters. Lots of pavers where you can buy one for $50 each and honor somebody in your family.
Or yourself.
Or yourself if you're serving currently or have served. So, yeah, definitely. And like we just mentioned, there's lots of ways to do it. You can either catch up with us on social to see when we're doing it. You can sign up online on our website or take a look at South Carolina Living magazine, or just stop by the office. All of those ways, just make sure that you get that form filled out and the $50 paid before October 31st, which is going to be our deadline for this year.
Yeah.
But, no matter what's going on out there and no matter what the circumstances are, we're always looking for partners in the community, our local governments, our school communities, and ways to reach all of our different communities that we have out there. And Yajaira, you have several groups that have helped us reach out to those military veterans and first responders, correct?
Yes. So we have partnered with several business partners helping the community. And one that comes to mind is Quilts of Valor. And we had an event with them last fall. It was absolutely amazing. The work and I want to say the talent that these ladies have in putting these quilts together. And we open our facilities because, that's what we're here for our community members and also our business partners. And, Quilts of Valor wanted to use our location, and we helped them with hosting their event. And I think what was so amazing is that we also honored some of our own employees.
We did.
And it was a big surprise, by the way. They had no clue.
Oh, my goodness. It was such a wonderful event. It was last November around Veterans Day. And, the Berkeley Quilters Guild approached us because they're part of, this is a national effort to distribute handmade, there's beautiful artwork. There's soft, cuddly, beautiful artwork to military veterans as Outreach, certainly, but also just to show a physical representation, to show the love of a community around these veterans' shoulders, because so many face so many horrific things during their times of service, and that can have lifelong effects.
That's right.
And, sometimes a quilt is just something that you can use to bring some comfort to you as a veteran. But we were so thrilled to host them because they needed a facility that was handicap accessible, because again, so many of our veterans bring home physical wounds as well as emotional wounds, and they needed a facility that they could bring anybody into. So we were so thrilled to honor their work as well as their mission and touched so many of our colleagues,
employees,
who are veterans.
Some of our colleagues, and not only that, our retirees. We had some of our retirees that were able to come out and make it. So it was one emotional day. The actual presentation from beginning to end was absolutely beautiful. I just remember the ladies giving honoring each and every one of them.
And they read a little summary of each veteran's service.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
It
was amazing. So I definitely would love to have them back, and reach out, maybe one of our members, there are several of them that we might be able to do something like that special for them. So it was amazing. One of the other business partners that come to mind is Fisher's House. If you've never heard of Fisher House, oh my goodness. Friends of Fisher House, which is located in Charleston, it's an actual home. It reminds me sort of like Ronald McDonald, but this is more for the veterans and the families. And it's pretty much a veteran that is maybe on a waiting list to get some type of medical attention, surgery. And if they live far away, the Fisher's House will go ahead and have them stay at this beautiful home, and their families as well, of no charge to it. And the meals that they eat, everything is free. So when I learned about this, I was like, oh my God, I want to go and help these people. What can we do? Berkeley Electric, help them. And that's when I got to meet, of course, manager Eric out there, amazing fella. And he gave us a tour. We were even able to cook a hot meal. That's another thing is
stocked their pantry.
Exactly. We gave donations to stock, because these are all items that the veterans and the families use at no charge, and it's there for them. And they can stay for as long as they need, depending, of course, on the type of medical attention that veteran needs. And the stories that I got to share with them, and they got to share with me. It was absolutely amazing. And they just, believe it or not, they love for people to just come and visit them and for them to just talk to you. And that's important. So if anyone is ever interested in volunteering, in donating, please do so, because they're always needing people to donate or even cook. You can go out there in their kitchen and cook a nice hot meal for their families. And it's an opportunity for you to check the home, talk to the veterans and their families, and just connect with them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Give some service back to them.
That's right. That's right. And another program, before I forget, is Fuel the Brave. I have worked with RJ from Fuel the Brave. That's RJ's mission he handles. And he actually goes out to veterans and first responders, and he actually, provides meals. And I said, RJ, I would love to help you in any way as possible, and especially with our first responders and our veterans, because sometimes when we do our events here locally, whether it's in Goose Creek or in Monk's Corner, our veterans or even first responders that live out in Johns Island can't drive all the way out to Monk's Corner or to Goose Creek. So this is a great opportunity
for us to go to them.
Yeah, exactly. For us to go to them and give back to the community.
And another part of his outreach is suicide prevention for veterans too. He had a friend.
He had a friend that, of course, this all happened, and this is where the mission came to place. That, of course, it's sad because, you know, when they come back, sometimes, as you mentioned, there's
scars.
There's
physical
wounds.
and mental.
Exactly. So RJ came up with this mission that he wanted to stop, you know, suicide, especially with our veterans, and he's been doing a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Well, folks, I mean, you know, it seems like we're talking a lot about food events here, but, you know, if you know anything about electric cooperatives, especially Berkeley Electric Cooperative, is that most of our stuff revolves around food. We like to eat here.
And feed people.
And feed people,
Yes.
Yeah.
But, you know, we have done other things in the past as well that don't necessarily revolve around food so much. We've done several different activities with the Wounded Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
We served as a stop for the Wounded Warrior Ride, where they ride their bikes through in awareness for wounded veterans, and we actually had several of our employees at the time take part in that. And then we also hosted for a number of years the Real Steel Veterans Fishing Expedition.
I think food was involved in the Real Steel
All
as
right.
well. Maybe a
you
fish fry.
I was about to say, we made you work for it, though. You had to go out and catch your food. So, so I mean, that's one where we invited wounded warriors and employee retiree veterans and we would take them on a guided fishing expedition out on the lakes. And then, like Libby mentioned, we would bring all the stuff back and have a fish fry for everybody. All right, so food was involved. But, so, you know, Berkeley Electric and the cooperatives in general definitely have a long history of supporting our veterans and our first responders.
Yeah.
It's just part of the DNA of electric cooperatives.
Yeah. Well, and, you know, like we're talking about, just the impact some of these events have on us personally. You know, it's easy to think, oh, you guys work for the electric company. Boy, that must be a fun job, you know, but yeah, we are constantly in the service of others in the groups that we serve and trying to enhance their lives in some way. And, you know, nothing means more to us than serving people who have served our country and ensure our freedom every day, you know, as a first responder and our safety. But, you know, Yajaira, one of my favorite events that we do evolves in food again.
More food.
Yep.
But it's our first responders lunch. What's the plan for our first responders lunch this fall?
Yes, excited about that. Our whole team will be out there working, and we just give back, as you mentioned, just a little small token of appreciation and gratitude for men and women that, you know, put so much on the line and they serve the community. So why not just one day out of the year try to do something nice for them? So this year we got that fish fry, got hush puppies, French fries. We doing the baked beans as we did last year, and I think we even had coleslaw, dessert.
Perlo.
Yep, exactly. So we want to keep that momentum, keep that going for, you know, our men and women that do so much.
And are we doing it in Goose Creek this year?
We are headed back to Goose Creek this year, but I always say everyone is welcome. So we're going to start spreading the word as, you know, time get closer, so that way we can get a head count and make sure that we have a nice hot meal for all of our first responders.
And we love that, you know, somebody from maybe Berkeley County Dispatch, they'll send somebody and come and get 10 to-go trays and take it back to the dispatch center, because we know that they can't break away. They're taking life-changing phone calls, you know, through 911. And so if you can't sit down and stay with us, you know, make sure you RSVP and get you a to-go plate.
We'll get you a to-go plate and make sure that food gets back to you so that way you can enjoy it as well.
But it is a really awesome lunch. I mean, fried fish. If you don't like fried fish, I mean, we've got Perlo, but
right, and Perlo's good too now, folks.
Yeah. And it's not catered. This is stuff that, just to mention, it's all cooked by our awesome colleagues here at the cooperative. So all of my, you know, not my employees, but Berkeley Electric employees, our staff, you know, they're out there. We even have our VP that comes out there, and he's either stocking the coolers with ice or doing something, but each one of us, part of our team, is doing something, and
one of them goes out there and catches the fish. Mark, you better get busy. We got a lot of people to feed coming up here. But I mean, we've been talking about events, and but like Livia mentioned, it's not so much that we're just out here, you flip the switch and that's all we're doing is making the widgets work so that when you flip the switch, you have electricity. We do actually, as an electric cooperative, participate in a lot of events throughout the year. So I mean, we're doing veterans, we're doing seniors, we do a ton of school outreach. We're reaching out to our LEP communities and stuff. And then one of the ways that our first responders help us out is we even do a trash pickup or a highway cleanup, I should say.
Thank you.
Along 52, and we have our local PD out there keeping us safe while we're doing that. And guess what we do when we get done? We feed them.
That's right.
Funny about that. How does that work? Well, folks, we don't have a meal for you today, but hopefully we had some good information, especially about our Veterans Monument. We are taking applications now online through at berkeleyelectric.coop, at the office, and in our magazine, $50 per paver. Make sure you get it the application in before October the 31st, and we will have them installed right at the beginning of the new year, unfortunately just a little bit after Christmas, but it's going to be a part of our beautiful Veterans Monument that's out front at our Moncks Corner headquarters. Well, that's going to do it for another edition of Power Talk. Thank you for tuning in. This is the official broadcast of your Berkeley Electric Cooperative, and you can catch up on past episodes on streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple, and iHeartRadio. And until next time, this is Power Talk, signing off.